If you're subscribed, go ahead and give that nice little red button down there a little press. No, wait a minute. It's horrible! Get rid of it! We don't like red buttons here. Quickly, press it and turn it grey. Quickly! Anyways, cue the goddamn intro. As we have been constantly reminded by SEGA every single day by them releasing news about it every so often, this year is the 30th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. The main thing which Sonic is all about is its games. Looking at the past 10 years of Sonic, games haven't really been the best, have they? SEGA just haven't been able to get a grip of Sonic. Naturally, because of all the failures in the past, people are going to start having doubts about this next game, which is due to release this year, especially after the underwhelming Sonic Forces. But I think otherwise. I actually have faith in SEGA that they will actually be able to pull off a really good game this year, possibly better than Generations, and maybe on par with Unleashed. Why and how do I think this? Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let us discuss the topic at hand. Since Generations, Sonic has had a very rough time with the games, starting with Lost World. Now, I do think Lost World is a very good game, but there's still its flaws. Lost World had a heavy influence from Mario, meaning that it lacked originality, something that Sonic was usually great at being, up until Generations. Boom doesn't really affect his next game, honestly, since the previously named Sonic Team wasn't part of the development of that era, so everything we saw in Boom won't be in the main series, thankfully. Now, let's talk about everyone's favourite game, Sonic Forces. Sonic Forces was a huge disappointment to everyone, had the potential to be one of the best in the series, but it just fell flat on its face and was just mediocre. Forces felt like it was so rushed, because it was. There was so much unused stuff found in the game, ranging from voice clips which would have benefited the game so much if they were in there, unused animations for new moves like a homing throw which was recently discovered, unused stage layouts which were never finished, such as Alpha Sunset Heights, which was actually Sunset Heights, Park Avenue and Redgate Bridge combined to make one long stage, but since they had to cut corners, they split it into 3 stages. There's just so much showing that Forces really was supposed to be way more than what we got in the final game. Even look at the concept art of the game. For example, this one of Green Hill, showing that it's supposed to be way more than just sand there. It was supposed to be turned into a prison camp. And then there's this one of Mystic Jungle, showing that it was supposed to be way more lush and colourful than the final one. But because of time constraints, they just turned Silent Forest from Lost World into a casino themed area, and while it still worked, we could have gotten something much better. The point I'm trying to make from all this is the fact that Sonic Forces was very short on time when it came to development. As we know, Sonic Forces came out a total of 4 years after Sonic Lost World, which would theoretically be enough time to put together a phenomenal Sonic game, but SEGA had other ideas. They spent 2 of those years on the Hedgehog Engine 2, 1 year on conceptual development, and then the final year on the actual development of the game, which means when the game was seized at the San Diego party, they had literally nothing of the actual game made. For 1 year of development, you have to admit, for SEGA to come out with Forces, it was pretty impressive, not even gonna lie. Now, you might say that we should excuse SEGA because of that, which should be right. If SEGA knew the game wasn't going to be what they wanted it to be, they should have just delayed it another year. Just think of this, how long has it been since Forces released? Nearly 4 years. We know that at South by Southwest 2018, they said development of the next mainline Sonic game was currently underway, which means they'd have had at least 3 years to work on this next game, and that's chopping off a year because of the pandemic. Forces was made in 1 year, look at how much they managed to put together in that time. If the time it took Forces to develop is multiplied by 3 times, who knows what they could do in all that time. We could have a game that's 3 times the quality and scale of Forces coming soon, with long stages, hub worlds, good controls, and little to no glitches. Just imagine that. SEGA no longer need to waste time on making the Hedgehog Engine 2 either, since it's already there made for them. All they need to do is use it and create another Sonic game. You might say that SEGA could try to use some more time to make a Hedgehog Engine 3 because of next gen consoles, but that isn't the case. SEGA didn't just make the Hedgehog Engine 2 just for Sonic, it's been used throughout SEGA for franchises like Persona. SEGA is still using the Hedgehog Engine 2, so we don't need to worry about them needing to make a more powerful lighting engine, since Hedgehog Engine 2 is already powerful enough. A lot of people think the Hedgehog Engine 2 is terrible, just because of what we got in Forces, and how Unleashed looks better than Forces, even though it came out 9 years prior. But Hedgehog Engine 2 is only a lighting engine. All the textures and art style in Forces is just because of SEGA, not because of how weak the Hedgehog Engine 2 is, and even the lighting in Forces is really good, way better than Unleashed. But then why does Unleashed still look better? The answer, my friend, is quite simple. Unleashed uses the full potential of the Hedgehog Engine 1 to give the best visuals and graphics it possibly can, but in Forces, they heavily underutilise the capabilities of the Hedgehog Engine 2, just like the parkour in Lost Worlds. What we see in Forces is nowhere near what the Hedgehog Engine 2 is capable of doing, far from it. If SEGA manages to fully utilise the power of the engine, this next game will look miles better than Unleashed, trust me. There was a mod done by Infinite Force, which ported Jungle Joyride Day to Forces, just without any objects like springs, and it looks amazing, much better than the one in Unleashed. It isn't even fully completed either. The water isn't properly finished, and the only reason Infinite Force made the mod in the first place was to show the power of the Hedgehog Engine 2. Just take a look at it. You cannot deny, the light is definitely much prettier than the Unleashed version. The lighting is just so good. The next thing that I believe will mean that this next game will be good is something quite important. When you play a Sonic game, what is one thing you want to be perfect? If you said physics, you are correct. Since Sonic 06 in 2006, SEGA have been using the Hedgehog engine for the physics in their games. So basically how Sonic reacts with slopes and things like that. That hasn't really been the best thing in the world if I'm being totally honest. I mean, it did the job, but not nowhere near as good as it could have been. One thing that was really lacking in games from 06 was momentum, and just a jump which was reliable. You never felt like you had complete control over the jump in the modern games. It just felt weird in Unleashed, Colors, and Generations. Lost World had a pretty solid jump in my opinion. It was just missing one thing, momentum. And then Forces' jump was just wrong. Just straight up wrong. Recently, SEGA abandoned the Hedgehog engine after around 12 years, and are now using an engine called the Bullet engine. They've already used it in games like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2020 and Sakura Wars. The engine is used for physics and animations, and from what I've heard, SEGA have been using the engine extremely well for the animations and physics for these games, so that is already looking promising. If we can get this next Sonic game to have solid physics for Sonic which feel natural and have momentum, and then we have well animated cutscenes with the characters moving more than just their eyelids to show emotion, that would truly be awesome. Talking about the budget of this game, I think SEGA will have seen what Sonic has done with the movie, and seen that Sonic can make big money if they let him. SEGA will possibly want to put a bigger budget into this next game, so that they can make a bigger and better game, so that it sells more because of how good it is, and then make more money because of how well received the game is. And in the end, make a huge profit, and they'll continue to make bigger budget Sonic games. The final point for why I have faith that SEGA will pull off a great game this year is because of the structuring of the Sonic development team. After Forces failed, SEGA fired the Japanese team behind Forces, which I think consisted of people who worked on Lost World 2. SEGA could have hired a set of developers who know how to make good games, or, even better, make good Sonic games. We also know that the writers from the previous decade of Sonic are no longer working on Sonic games anymore, meaning a well-written story could be on its way to this game. It's been a while since we've had an actual good and memorable story with good writing. The last time we had this was with Sonic and the Black Knight, over 10 years ago. Just imagine, Sonic actually getting a well-made and executed 3D Sonic game with a good story. SEGA, I really do have faith in you this time. Anyway, that's about wraps it for today's video. I really do have all faith in SEGA this time, I really do. SEGA might not have properly shown us through mainline games that they can make a good 3D Sonic game, but it's more than what meets the eye. We just need to look at what they've been doing with other things behind the scenes, and we could judge from that. And doing that is looking pretty good. But if it'll pay off, only time will tell. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, especially the last one. And I hope to see you next time. Peace!